Last week, I talked about how I want to be more mindful about my crafty purchasing. And to help with that, I've added a couple of new tweaks to how I'm managing my craft supply inventory. Let me show you. I use the free Evernote app to manage my stamp and die inventory. I'm going to skip the very basics of it since I covered it pretty thoroughly in a video I made last year. And I'll put the link to that at the end of this video if you're interested. But basically, it's an app designed for note-taking, organizing, task management, and archiving. Since 2014, I've used the free version of it to keep track of my crafty goodies. I'm not a techie or Evernote expert, but I am happy to share how I make it work for me and to answer any questions I can. Earlier this week, the very last of my 2022 purchases arrived, and the package included this stamp and die set from Hero Arts, which I just love because of the mid-century feel of the font. And I also got this stencil. It's a Christmas tree stencil, but it's so geometric, I think I can use it for other times of year as well. When I get new goodies, the first thing I do is open the packaging and put it into the pockets I use in my system. I select the correct size pocket, and I create a label with my label maker, and then I cut a cardstock insert for the pocket. Then I color code the insert by running a line of Copic marker across the top. I implemented this color coding system about 1,000,000 years ago, and I find it really helpful when I'm physically searching through my stamps. Green is for sentiments, red is for Christmas, pink is for florals, gray is for dies, blue is for alphabets, and yellow is for backgrounds. I use a slightly different system for my stencils without any color coding. I guess this is an update as well. I did make a video about my stencil storage a while ago, and I'll put a link to that at the end as well. Until recently, I didn't have that many stencils, but that's changed a bit over 2022. I use 5.5 by 8.5 inch sheet protectors for them, and now I use some of my old colored cardstock for my inserts rather than white cardstock so that the stencils are more visible. All my stencils from A Colorful Life Designs have teal inserts, and the rest have light gray inserts. So here's the first change to my system. I cleared out this bin, and this will be my new products bin. Many of you recommended this system for ensuring you use new goodies. I have a mental block about this one because I like my things put away where they belong so I know where to find them. But by creating a place for them, I'm hoping I'll be able to consider them put away enough to put my silly brain at rest. I keep my 4 by 6 inch sets in this stack of drawer from Sterilite that I bought probably 12 years ago from a store called Canadian Tire. It fits the pockets perfectly after I cut the flaps off the top, and lots of people ask me about these drawers. I'm not sure if they're available anywhere now. I used to have my large 6 by 8 inch stamps in my new bin, but now I've put them in the bottom two drawers, on their sides for now. This probably means I'll need to add labels here, but I'll see how I like it before I commit. So my new stamp set and stencil are ready to go into my new bin, and here's how I input the notes into Evernote. This is the biggest change to my system. Rather than starting in Evernote, I go to the website of the shop that I purchased it from. This is a local shop here in Toronto, and I use the Evernote Web Clipper extension. This opens a small version of everything that will help create the note in my Evernote notebook right up in the top right corner. There are different formatting options for your notes, and I like to use Screenshot. This gives me the ability to take a screenshot of the area of the web page I want to include in my note. And this page isn't centered properly so that I can fit the whole set in, so I'm going to back out and start over. Just ignore that little bar in the bottom left corner. That's the screen record controls, and I just forgot to hide them. Okay, so now I can see the full set and I can capture the screenshot. But before I hit save to Evernote, I can make changes right here so that the note has all my preferred formats rather than the defaults it picks up from the website. First, I change the title. I add the word Christmas after Hero Arts to conform with the categories I use. Again, I talk more about how I categorize my items in last year's Intro to Evernote video, so be sure to check that out. Then I go down to the notebook. This one's a tough one because it's stamps and dies, and I actually expect I'll use the dies more than the stamps. But for the most part, I put sets like this in the stamps notebook, like any set that has coordinating dies. Then I can go down here to the tags area, and I can add the tags that will help me find this set when I'm looking for it. You can see that all my tags come up in a drop-down, so I can select them easily. When I'm happy with everything here, I click on Save to Evernote. This is so much faster than trying to find the image, copy and insert it into a note, but that method works as well, as I can attest to, since I used it for years. If you want to double check, you can click on Open in Evernote. I don't usually, but I will now to show you what the note looks like there. Here it is. Now you can see that the word Christmas that I typed into the title is there. It's in the Stamps notebook, and all my tags are there in the bottom. In the top right corner is a link to the page where I got it. That comes over automatically, and that can be useful as well. Over here on the left is all your notes. You can click here to sort them in different orders depending on what you need. Right now I've got them in date created order with the newest ones first, but you can go by title or date updated if that's what you need. And you can see right there that I've got 2 notes for this set. That's because I usually create the note when I order it to try and prevent ordering the same thing during the time between placing my order and when it actually arrives at the house. Yes, it's happened. So I can show you here that if you need to delete a note, just go up to the 3 dots in the top right corner and move to Trashes on the bottom of that list. I don't know if you noticed Share at the top of that list, but you can do that too. You can share notes with friends who have Evernote and the same crafty supplies. The next big change I'm making to Evernote is to tag my notes with the year I purchased the items and also the new tag to anything that hasn't been used yet, with the intent of removing that tag when I use it. That's kind of the electronic equivalent of a physical bin for new items, and I'll see what I think of both of those systems. I started doing it one by one, but then I figured out how to select more than one note at a time and add the tag to all the selected notes at once. That's a great feature if you need to go back and update a bunch of notes for some reason. I don't think I'll go back before 2022 to add the purchase date tag, but I will make sure to add it going forward. I told you last week that I don't think a no-spend plan is realistic for me. And while I was on Craft Roulette last Friday night, we got to talking about the idea of low spend. Just being more mindful about each purchase, using a wish list rather than buying it immediately, understanding any bad or questionable shopping habits we might have, things like that. I think having my inventory up to date and adding these new tags will help me be better about that. At least I hope it will. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.